Alright guys, this is going to be a true sound of the farm video because, as per seems to be my standard at this point, I have managed to drop the phone, which in turn broke my microphone receiver. So I have no fancy microphone receiver and we're dealing with the phone audio. Should be okay in terms of how you can hear me and what you can hear, but probably going to be a lot noisier from wind and background noise than I prefer. And we're just going to roll with it until I can get yet another one. Or, if I'm smart this time, figure out a way to do this so that if I do drop the phone, which I do on the regular, I don't break it. It's so frustrating. I have been through, that is now my third one that I have dropped and broken. And they're all completely my fault. I stick the phone in my pocket, it falls out of my pocket when I'm bending over to get something. Like, these are things I should be able to control. But, bam, this is Racing for Harm. It's Racing for Home Farm, last I checked. Where the animals rule the schedule and I just try and keep up. It's utter and complete controlled chaos, but the critters are cute. Everything here is unplanned, unscripted, and sometimes not microphoned. Meanwhile, if you want to go ahead and hit that like and subscribe button to see all the cute baby goats, despite my ineptitude, apparently it's lunchtime, feel free to do so. So, I guess I'm going to keep this one fairly short. Oh, it was a double lunchtime. I know, Jacy, they're getting so big. The boys are getting so big. They have to practically lay on their bellies to nurse anymore. And you have no patience for them. She needs a babysitter. She needs a mama's night out. At any rate, I don't even know what I was saying. They were too cute. They just completely and totally... Oh, there you go. Well, that seems to be par for the course on this channel anymore, with 8 bucklings in the house. We're just gonna have a whole lot of humping. So, anyway, Jacy's boys are getting a little bit too tall to nurse, which is fine. They're on their way to being weaned. You guys have seen in recent videos they're eating plenty of hay. They belly up to the bar pretty quickly. Some of our littler guys, like our little man here, Voodoo, and his sister, who are a little shorter, they have a shorter mama. So they're experiencing the same problem, just not on the same scale. And then we have Misty's kids, who are way down there with Sock Monkey's kids. It's interesting how they've clumped up in groups. But those 4 down at the bottom there, our 4 youngest twins, are about 3 weeks younger than the group of 6 that I have up here close to me. And when I see them separated, they're not always separated, but when I see them separated, it is in that dynamic where there's the 4 and then the 6. Always interesting. Here's a view. I don't know if you caught his testicles dangling while he scratched himself. Always entertaining with intact boys until they're castrated. They are getting to the point that we're going to have to castrate them. All of these guys are going to be wethers except for Voodoo. Voodoo is our little black and white boy here. I am keeping him as a buckling, at least for now. It's a risky decision, right? So when you castrate the boys young, I do it at about between 9.5 and 10 weeks of age. It's still young enough to do the banding method, which we provide them some pain medication for because it is uncomfortable at first, but it quickly subsides. It cuts the circulation off to their reproductive parts. And those parts literally dry up and fall off. No surgery, no open wounds, everything's good. If I keep this little buckling and keep him to evaluate, right? He's not going to go into a breeding program until he's at least 6 months old, and that's if he proves out to be as good as we hope he is going to be. If at that point I decide he needs to be weathered because either something changed in his development, he didn't develop the coat I wanted, I've never had it happen, but certainly if he didn't have a personality that I wanted, if he became overly aggressive or overly assertive, and I decided I wanted to weather him, that would require surgical intervention from the vet. There are farmers out there that do their own castration surgically. I don't believe in that. We've talked about that before. Once it gets to the point that it needs to be done surgically, that's a veterinarian. That's anesthesia. That's antibiotics. That's all the things that need to go along with an open incision. So, kind of one window of decision making to make them whether a castrated male or leave them as a buck. The next time you make a decision or change your mind, either you can't because you've castrated them, or you need to do a surgical wether. That's my opinion. It's not a fact. There are people who will not agree with me, and that's okay. My practices don't work for everybody, and your practices might not work for me. We can still be good husbandry and still provide great care for our animals and still love them. Here comes my little guys. Whoosh! All of a sudden they decided to come forward. Did you think you were getting fed or something? Because it's not dinner time. It's not even close to dinner time. But you sure came up for a visit, didn't you? So I've talked before about how I absolutely believe firmly that 98% of the bucks born in this world should be castrated. You do not need a lot of bucks, right? One buck can impregnate tons of girls if they choose to, if you choose to. Well, it's fun time. It's tag time. Thank you for that. So it's certainly not necessary to have tons and tons of intact bucks around. Being an intact buck is hard on their bodies. It kind of shortens their lifespan because they're breeding, they're arguing. They're fighting for dominance, and these guys don't fight hard, but they still are hard on their bodies. So I would much rather look at a goat, and there's several in this group that I look at and think, oh, I really wish I would keep them as a buck. I really wish these genetics would pass on. But quite frankly, I'm perfectly fine castrating them and sending them home as the most amazing, sweet pets that are going to have long, healthy, happy lives with their new families. I look at this little guy here who's just now coming into his coat. He's one of the younger guys. You can see his hair on the top of his head. Things are just starting to show signs of just an incredible coat. And for these guys, the coat is one of the more important traits. So I look at that and I think, I would absolutely love to have him in my breeding program. One, I can't because he's related to just about everybody, aren't you? You're related to 4 out of my 7 does, so that wouldn't work out so well. And, another breeder just doesn't need him at this time. And why keep him here as an intact buck for the just in case somebody else might need him someday, when I can castrate him and send him home to be a beloved wether. And that's what we're going to do with every single one of these boys except Voodoo. They are all going to go home to be beloved wethers. Some will be wethers that go into the show ring. Others will be wethers. You're a doe. You don't get castrated. Others will be wethers that are just beloved pets. And that is better, in my opinion, than staying an intact buck, unless you have a purpose, right? So we will watch Mr. Voodoo grow up. And my hope is he starts to develop hair on his head like this guy. This guy's going to be amazing. And his cousin here, because they're actually, I don't know, cousin? Let's see. So this guy is Persephone's baby boy. And this one is Misty's baby boy. Misty is Persephone's mother. And they both have the same father. So they're sort of half brothers, half aunt and half uncles? I think is how that works. I'm not sure. Uncle and nephew, half brothers. This year's just a little odd with everybody having the same sire, but that's just the way it worked out. So at any rate, that's my TED Talk on castration and bucklings. Here's our two little does who don't have to go. They're not, that's not a doe. You tricked me. There's one doe in the front here, and that is a little baby boy in the back who confused me for a second, and I thought he was the doeling that's clearly looking for scraps here in the in the stall. She's looking for hay scraps. Huh, buddy? Did you come up and see me? With your big poofy head? You have a big poofy head? Oh, does that feel good? Yeah, it does, doesn't it? If you're hearing water running, that would be Persephone? Yes, that would be Persephone peeing behind me. Awesome. So, I am going to go try and figure out this microphone situation. If anybody has any suggestions for a better option to connect a microphone to my phone without it sticking out and being the first thing that snaps off when I drop the phone, inevitably. Be fabulous. And I will hope that the next video has better audio. At any rate, I gotta run. Until next time, there's work to be done. Bye for now.